My name is Dalton. I'm the director of the Global Water Program in IUCN, the International Union for Conservation of Nature. We've joined the Water Changemakers Awards because there's no time like the present when more action is needed on water, especially given the COVID-19 crisis. Our members work hard on trying to understand climate change impacts and therefore the appropriate responses to how we deal with adaptation, how we deal with extremes, how we deal with slow onset challenges that climate change will bring. We also have, we work closely with business partners. The World Business Council for Sustainable Development is a member of IUCN, and without business, we're not going to be able to deal with all of the challenges that climate change brings. They have many of the solutions. They're also heavily impacted by climate change. And to maintain strong and healthy economies, they are part of the response mechanism that we try and work towards. Decisions around water resource management and climate change impacts are sometimes not obvious, so therefore the decisions are not easy to make if people don't see clarity and understand what needs to be done. I think decisions around water resource management create trade-offs, and we don't understand the full impact of those decisions yet. You know, will it create medium to long-term negative impacts as well? That's part of the understanding of climate, is as our science and knowledge gets better, we start to understand the cause and effect of our decision making. Environment is where climate change makes its first impact, right? If it's either in the air we breathe, the temperatures we live in, the water we drink, the environment that we are surrounded by. So our environment is front and center to the climate change response. And that's why environment and conservation needs to be in the discussion around change in water management, the way that our freshwater systems will be affected by climate change, the way that we as society respond to those freshwater systems will heavily impact freshwater biodiversity. It will heavily impact fish stocks going forward. I think if you look at the speed and scale of the response of governments, often criticized for being slow, the way that they have moved and reacted to COVID is quite extraordinary. It's quite harsh in some countries as well, but it's there to save lives. This is an indicator of what we may have to deal with in the future with climate change in terms of sudden onset changes, increasing numbers of people living in difficult parts of the world where they may need to migrate for work or migrate completely. So the more that we are able to cope with shocks and stresses, the more that we can understand how we need more adaptable approaches, adaptable institutions. We need more resilience, more redundancy in our institutions and our approaches. It all, of course, economically costs, but this is an important but very tragic lesson to learn from COVID, is where we see the ability of institutions, companies, society to adapt and change, to follow the rules, to understand how we can actually use the positives from this to better react and cope with climate change going forward.